That's something. Alright. Oh boy. Here we go, guys. Quest 64. Let's get this garbage started, shall we? There is a glitch I'm going to try to do at the very beginning of the run. I'm just going to preface this. If it does happen, it's going to look really cool, but there's a very distinct chance that it doesn't happen. So if that doesn't happen, one of the mods will post a link to a video of it happening so you all can see it. But with that, let's get started. Alright. 3, 2, 1, and go. Alright. So, first things first, like every good game, we start by maxing our text speed. And now we're going to run forward and kind of just make our way downtown. There pretty much is no story to this game, so, you know, the L-Tail book, an all-powerful book that tells you power of spirits got stolen. Our dad went after it, it's been gone for a month, and now the Grand Abbot sends us, a 10-year-old boy, go find our dad. So, yeah, that's the story. That's literally it. So the first thing we're gonna do is called the death dupe. So, an unintended side effect, wow, can't talk, of this game being unfinished is that there's a lot of things that they forgot to do. For instance, we used to do, well, we still do, but not as necessary. We do a glitch called just normal cloning, where you cast exit or return, assuming you can, on top of a spirit. Well, you would think normally they would lock your controls, but you can actually pick up the spirit while that spell is being cast, so you can pick up the spirit instead of one time, you can pick it up 6 times, which is pretty sweet. Death dupe, you do a couple things. You do something called the initiative glitch. So anytime Brian is moving, he can get into an encounter. And if I open the spell menu, Brian doesn't stop immediately, he slides. During that slide, Brian is still technically moving, you can get into an encounter with your spell menu open. If you do, that's the initiative glitch. So we want to do the initiative glitch on top of a spirit, and then we want the encounter, we want the enemies to actually be faster than us. It's required for it to work, unfortunately. So, initiative glitch, faster enemy, on top of a spirit. We then have very, very little HP, like 1, hopefully. And we try to, you cast this, so initiative glitch in the encounter, you cast a spell 1 second into the encounter, game does weird things, enemy teleports across the arena, you try to run out, you open the item menu, you hopefully die, and then you heal after you hear the death audio. The game goes, what? And you have about 8 seconds or so to clone. If I was a TAS, I could mash and pick up 96 spirits. So it's a little broken. You can do it very early in the game. But it's super, super RNG dependent because of, you know, just getting the right encounters. Something to note, though, with this game, is it actually always starts on the same RNG seed. So as long as my movement is consistent at the very, very beginning, I will always get the same encounters. But unfortunately you have 360 degrees of movement, so any kind of RNG minute breaks down really, really quick. Alright, so hopefully we get this guy. Hacker Z is probably the best. He does 3 to 4 damage, his agility is 8, and his animation is super fast, so we're going to use him just to grind our HP and defense down. Hopefully he's not a butt and leaves us at 4 HP, but we want 1. Yeah, the link will only need to be posted if I don't get the death dupe, which is unfortunately a distinct possibility. Alright, that's good. So we won't end up with 4, we'll end up with 2. That's good, and hopefully we won't die. That's the spirit that we use I think it's the 3rd spirit in the game, very, very early, and super convenient corner. So I'm gonna run around the circle here to increase the chance of getting an encounter. And we'll only spend like 3 or 4 minutes on this, and then I'll just load a save because this is unfortunately quite awful. Okay, well, there's the encounter. This is the other encounter that will work. Don't hit me for 2. Thank you for missing. So this encounter is the other one that will work. This one's actually the optimal one, if it sets up nicely, just because, for whatever reason, when you die from them, it doesn't take as long. I don't know, it's a weird thing. I don't know the specifics offhand. Okay, let's try this. The reason we wanted 1 HP is for that guy, actually, in particular. They do 1 or 2 damage. But they also have 6 agility, and we're probably really close to 6 agility, probably about 70%. Yep. 5 agility with 70%. Once you have the same agility as an enemy, you're technically faster. Only other enemy we can use is the Hellhound or Hecker Z, who has 8 agility. Okay, this is being dumb. Well, this is incredibly, incredibly normal, unfortunately. Alright. I want the encounter, like, over here. The further I'm into the corner, the better, because this encounter arena is always the same size. It's always in the same spot. So the closer is the edge, the easier it is to get out of the encounter, to die, heal, and have the encounter end. Yeah, this glitch alone probably saves 20 minutes. Or it saved 20 minutes on like a 2-hour run. It's ridiculous. Alright. Okay. I'm faster than them. Oh, and he did 2 damage. Alright, well, I guess we're loading a save. That's what the beginning setup was, but unfortunately, let me check. Yeah, I was faster than them, so it wouldn't have worked. But yeah, he did 2 damage, so that's all of the fun, except I was faster than him, so let me just load a save real quick. Now would be a good time to post that link for what Death Dupe's supposed to look like. Thank you, guys. Unfortunately, the nature of the run is lots of resets there. Alright, so what would happen generally is I would end up with about this many spirits, 40 water, 30 earth. Hey look, we did it, guys! We did the glitch and the stuff. Alright. So, next thing's next. We're gonna start by doing what's called the agility glitch. So the way the game keeps track, or how you get agility, I guess, in the game is moving. Pretty straightforward, but there's different levels of agility you can get, and the best one is the agility glitch, mainly from moving in encounters, and unfortunately it's not going to happen this time. The way the agility glitch works is that when you get agility in encounter, it starts where I started the turn and where I end the turn, and it like looks at those 2 spots and goes, okay, you get this much agility for moving that far. Well, the agility glitch, if you're faster than the enemy that you get into an encounter with, the game doesn't reset your previous encounter, or like your original encounter spot to be where the encounter loads. It does where your previous encounter ended. So you can move really, really far and then do the agility glitch and you get a bunch of agility. It also holds over between areas. So if the coordinates of the beginning of an area is like 100, 100, and the coordinates of the area you go into are like -100, -100, it still holds over, and you get a gigantic amount of agility. So we will have to do that a bit. That's going to be our main bit of grinding. I'm also going to do a defense grind, because the route without doing that is incredibly sketchy. It really only adds like 6 or 7 minutes to the run, which isn't too bad. Alright. So I'm way faster than these guys, but why are they going first? Yeah, agility glitch. Oh, and the other thing you're going to notice is I'm going to be casting Soul Searcher 2. I want to have 21 MP by the end of the run. And the way you get MP is by casting spells, and each hit of a spell gives you experience. The Soul Searcher 2 is a fast animation, it hits all enemies. You always get experience with it, and I'm pretty sure it's just because of the way the game handles debuffs on enemies. My assumption is that the way debuffs work is that they always technically hit, but then the effect can hit or miss. So you always get experience because the spell always technically hits, whether or not the effect hits or not. Because, and I say that because I'm really, agility is bad. I still have 7 here, that's awful. The reason I say that is because of spells that do damage and also do debuffs. So like there's a spell called Ice Knife that does damage and can also freeze the enemy. The damage can hit and the freeze can miss, and I'm pretty sure, like, that's just my guess, and it makes the most sense because that's pretty much what it does. Alright, unfortunately, our agility is awful. I should have... The goal is to have 16 going into the forest here. I have 9, so we're pretty far off, and this is... So it's going to be a couple more ins and outs, not a huge amount, but just a little bit more. And if I get the, if I get a good defense grinding counter, there's one of 2 enemies that can hit 3 times a turn. I will be taking advantage of that and grinding my HP and defense for like a couple minutes. Alright, so we have 10. The fastest enemy in here has 16, everything else has 11, so we are slower than literally everything in here. It's just fantastic. Oh, and that's the 16, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway. They hit hard, and they also are. So this is the exit and return cloning. It's a 5. 6 is frame perfect, 5 is really good, 4 is what you normally expect. That's what it would have looked like, but imagine for 8 seconds. That's pretty much what the death dupe is. Alright. And so begins the agility grind and defense grind. This is just agility right now. I need to get a defense encounter. There's 2 spirits over here. I'm going to clone both of them. This game is so easy to manipulate because it's unfinished. Ah, speak of the devil, that enemy on the right, or on the left rather, not the kobold, the Marionasty does this attack. And we're just going to and grind and hopefully not dodge. So, if you all need to go to the bathroom or grab water, now is an excellent time, because I'm just going to be doing this for a while. Yeah, we're gonna get to 63. So, the old route we used to grind to 59 HP. I'm going to grind to 63 because I am going to have to grind later anyway, but I'm just going to do it now since now's a good time. And because we have so much MP, or so many spirits, we can cast spells that we shouldn't have access to yet, like Confusion. So what Confusion does, for the damage you take, you get that much MP. Quite nice. Once we hit 54... No, it's 56 for the Marionasties. Once we hit 56 HP, we also get defense from doing this, by the way, and it works the same way as HP. So, HP, to get HP, take hits or melee with the staff. That'll give you HP experience. MP, casting spells that hit. Each hit gives you experience. Defense, for every hit you take, gives you experience. And agility, well, for us, mostly it's going to be the agility glitch, but moving in general. But assuming I haven't meleeed anything, which I haven't, at 56, our defense will also go up, and we'll take less damage if I were to leave and re-enter into a new encounter. So the game doesn't recalculate your stats in an encounter unless you use a spell that specifically affects that stat. So at 56, he would change to 1 to do 1 or 2 damage, as opposed to 3 to 2 damage. And so I'll just cast a defense up spell. The game will, once the spell wears off, the game will go, oh, your defense went up. And he'll continue doing this amount of damage. But yeah, now he's doing 1 and 2s. Oh, and a big thing that everyone loves, self-buffs can miss. Fantastic. We will do, so I'm doing extra grind here because we will have to do it later as well. But just because our agility is really low, we're going to take a lot more hits. With your agility going up, you'll just dodge a lot more. It'll just be better to do it now, especially with things only doing 1 or 2 damage. It's a lot less sketchy doing it here. I actually, offhand, I don't know when the when Mary Nasty does 1 and 2 damage instead. Oh, that was, I don't know what I was doing there. But the reason I know the 56 is because the route before Death Dupe, and even with Death Dupe originally, we still did the defense grind. Now, we kind of ignore that defense grind, but the issue with that is that there's many enemies at the end of the game that can one-shot us. But the agility route actually mitigates that very nicely, except for the last world, Mammon's World, where there's 1, maybe 2 enemies that can one-shot us. 1 enemy absolutely can, the other enemy, it depends on how many hits we take throughout the run in general. It's always really close. But pinheads are the devil now. They hit really hard. Actually, THQ is the publisher, Imagineer is the one who made the game. Pretty sure Imagineer doesn't even make games anymore. Alright, we'll take 1 more hit here. Beautiful, and we're good. Oh, heal is an escape. Okay. The little gem thing that's floating up on the ground is actually what they're called spirits in-game. It's essentially a rare candy. Quite literally a rare candy, actually. But with the cloning or exit, you can, you know, make it into several rare candies. Like that. And now we do the agility grind. The agility grind is mildly more interesting. Though this tree is about the edge of where you can get encounters in this area. If you notice, this encounter arena will always be the same, just because of where we are. And now I went from 14 to 18. We're gonna go all the way to about 45 or so. You don't really need to mash like I do. I just do that because I like to. It's very easy to do the agility glitch. Like, really easy. There's like a full second and change to tap A or Z. It's super easy to do. It's ridiculous. I'm surprised that we didn't find it until much later. But yeah. So I just tapped A like 4 times there, just to make sure. Soul Surge 2 when I get out of the encounter, and hey look, I have 25 agility now. Yeah, exit return cloning only gives you a little bit of time, and you can only get a max of 6. Death Dupe gives you like 8 seconds, you can get a max of 96. Mildly different. And the other thing is people might know is that JP is actually pretty different from the US version. They made it a lot easier, but they also fixed some stuff. You can't do agility glitch in the same manner. You can't just skip your turn when the encounter loads. You actually have to do the initiative glitch. So in both of these games, if you do the initiative glitch and you cast your spell immediately, it's the same effect, and you can get the agility glitch that way. Except that, as you saw, it's really annoying to do the initiative glitch. It's just tedious. But like all your stats go up faster in JP. There's double hits. You get MP as well as HP from bosses. There's a nice little animation when your stats go up. Oh, you can crit. You can get item drops even if you have 2 of the item, as opposed to only 1. You can only get or rather, you can only get the item if you have none of them in this version. But the big things for me, and the reason I don't play JP that much, is 1, the agility glitch. Which isn't that big a deal, but makes it a lot nicer. I'll explain the agility glitch in a second. But 2, they actually forced an animation every time you pick up a spirit. So, exit or return cloning, you can get 2 spirits out of. Death dupe, I haven't done one yet, but based on, you know, kind of guesswork, it should be about 17 max for death dupe. So, it sucks a lot. If someone ported or like fixed or unfixed, I guess, the agility glitch and also got rid of that animation so that cloning was like US, I would probably only play that version. Because it would just be so much better. But the agility glitch is, so in an encounter, the way the game treats your or gives you agility is it starts where your current coordinates are, and it goes to where the end of your turn is, and it says, oh, you move this far, you get this much agility, right? Now, I'm actually going to take this encounter, because I want an item that they can drop. But, so that's how agility gives you normally, but if you're faster than the enemy you get into an encounter with, you can skip your turn before the encounter fully loads and resets where your current coordinates are. The game thinks you moved from wherever your previous coordinates are to wherever you are now, and you get a huge amount of agility depending on positioning, but you get a lot of agility. God dang it. They drop an item called Celine's Bell that would have been useful for an out of bounds later. But yeah, so I'm running back and forth between here because I'm getting like 3-ish amounts of agility. Or so, 2 or 3 now. Should be at 44, I think. Yeah, 44. What is it, 46? Alright, we're good to move on. Alright, we're done with all the major grinding. We'll still be doing agility glitch, but it won't be like that. And now we're gonna go beat up the first boss. So, for anyone who's played the game, and even those who haven't, you might recall that the first boss, Solvering, is an absolute butt. He hits really, really hard. You're just not prepared for him. Just watch the fight. It's gonna be fun. I'm also taking turns here to do Soul Searcher because it hits a bunch of enemies to get a lot more experience. Maybe one time I'll get it. There's a glitch called the Victory Animation Cancel, which I would only be doing on random encounters that I kill, which is very, very few. There's like a couple frames when an encounter ends where you can start to cast a spell. And you know Brian's Victory Animation where he jumps up in the air and like throws the staff up in the air. He's like, oh yeah, I did it. Well, if you do the Victory Animation Cancel, you can cast Heal and watch the heal animation instead, which is significantly faster. It also has an interesting side effect where the music doesn't load in, which is pretty funny. Let me find an angle. Okay, there we go. Angle that isn't laggy. We're gonna have way more MP than we normally would because you usually don't get this many of these encounters. I would normally have 16 and change. I already have 17 and change, so we're super good on MP, which is great. Having to grind MP at the end of the game is really obnoxious. Okay. Fortunate. Yeah, we're still doing the agility glitch as we walk. We're going to be doing it for a long, long time. We want to have... there's certain hit-off points for the agility that I want. Mostly because I know exactly where I need to stand to go out of bounds later on. Yes, they're out of bounds in this game. There's several of them. Hopefully I'll be showing off each one. There's one that's a distinct possibility that won't happen, but the other ones have to happen, pretty much. But I will leave that when we get to them. Alright, we have 48 agility, that's what I want here. once we get through these Frog Knights, we're gonna just beat up an old Solvering. Hey look, miss. Get used to seeing that. It's gonna happen a lot. It's gonna happen a lot. Alright, so, first boss, Solvering. He was a thief who stole a gem, which is a recurring theme with literally every boss. Not every boss, the first 3, and then the 5th boss. Alright, here's Solvering. He has 200 HP. Cool. Bye, Solvering. Fight is so good now. He gets absolutely annihilated. Yeah, Quest is a it's a game sometimes. But yeah, that's all. That's part of the big reason that Death Dupe is so good. Is it makes that fight, instead of 20 or 10 turns of hitting for 20 damage, you just hit him twice and he goes. Pfft. We'll do a Joda glitch here because Solvering's room has its own coordinates and they're very low. So we got a bunch here. That'd be at 49, like only a level. Do another clone here. It's 5, and we will continue on picking up spirits. So now that we have a good time, let's talk about how the damage works for your spells. So obviously, the spell or the level of the particular element affects the spell's damage, but the adjacent and opposite spirits or elements also affect your damage. So for this run, we're using Avalanche because Avalanche is ridiculously broken. To put it in perspective, Avalanche's base damage is 460 or something, I think it's 460. That is for a single rock of Avalanche. Avalanche drops several rocks. The next highest spell for base damage is a spell that shoots exactly one projectile, and it's like 430 or so. So Avalanche has the highest base damage, and then it drops a lot of rocks. Avalanche is mildly broken. So we're going to be doing that. But Avalanche is Earth. And we're going to put Earth up to 50, but you'll notice that I will only take water and fire if we get to it, up to 48. The reason for that... Oh, great, I got frozen. The reason for that is the way the adjacent and opposites affect the other spirits. So it's every 8 of the adjacent, so every 8 of water and fire is like an additional level on Earth. And in the case of wind, it's every 16 since it's opposite of Earth. So... conveniently enough, we do want water, so we'll toss water up to 48, and then we'll toss fire up to 48. And if we get those both to 48, then and only then will we put anything into wind, because wind is basically, and by basically I mean completely worthless in this run. Fire is actually somewhat useful. We use a spell called Compression for an out of bounds, but we'll get to that later. The other spell that's incredibly broken is Magic Barrier. Because Magic Barrier protects you from all magic damage and effects. It doesn't protect you from melee, but there aren't that many enemies with melees. In particular, none of the bosses have any melee attacks. So you're completely invincible against all the bosses. It's pretty great. So boss fights from this point on are pretty much going to be Magic Barrier, Avalanche, Magic Barrier, Avalanche, Magic Barrier, Avalanche, until the boss goes pfft. If I get out of the encounter, I'll cast Soul Searcher, but generally I'm just going to try to escape. My MP is already almost 18, which is ridiculous. And downtown. So we just beat Solvering. He gave us the Earth Gem. We're going to go beat up Zels next. He's going to give us the Wind Gem. I don't remember their exact names. I want to say it's the Wind Jade. The wind one. The earth one I think is just called the Earth Orb, and the water one is I think it's called the Water Jewel. And the fire one is the Fire Ruby, I believe. It's been a while since I've actually read the text of those items, so I don't recall offhand. Earth Orb, Wind Jade, Water Jewel, I think? Fire Ruby. Yeah, they named them really well. 2 of them are okay, and the other 2 are kind of eh. Why not Water Sapphire? Why not Earth Citrine or whatever? You know? Yeah, Fire and Wind is, ooh. Fire and Wind actually isn't too bad, honestly. The issue with Fire and Wind is more that, like, all the end game after Shilf, Fargo's Fire, Guilty, and Mammon actually are both neutral element, so they take half damage from all spells, so they're garbage anyway. And then Bogus is also Fire, so you're not gonna be doing a lot of damage that way. I try to roll my thumb. The way I cast Escape is it's down, left, right. And if I roll my thumb too quickly, I'll end up hitting down, left, up, and that's what I just did there, and that's Drain MP instead. And that'll happen every once in a while. Alright, on to Limeland. We are not going to do the quick save that I would normally do for a Death Warp after Nepti, because Marathon luck. I don't trust this game as far as I can throw it, and I can throw it pretty far. Actually, I should heal now. Not here because it's laggy, but maybe here. There we go. So normally I would save there, but we're not going to do that. We're going to head up to Larapool. We're going to grab some blue wings. The wings items in this game is what teleports you back to a town. Super convenient. Not as necessary in this run other than one set of blue wings, but they're very nice in general. I think it's common behavior for people who hate their game. Granted, I love this game, but it is also incredibly infuriating sometimes. Especially with the way the route is now. It's very, very, very much up to RNG if I'm just gonna die or not. So from Guilty forward, pretty much all the bosses, well no, Guilty can one-shot us if he does his close range. So if Magic Barrier just decides to miss on your very first turn, the run ends right there. That's about an hour and change in. Bogus, depending on our HP defense, can also one-shot us with his long range and come pretty close with his short range. So if Magic Berry misses on Bogus, you're dead. And then there's the enemies in Mammon's world that can kill us. And they're all faster than us, so we can't do anything about that unless we just don't get into an encounter. Thankfully, when we get to Mammon, he's actually not super strong. He can two-shot us, but usually Magic Barrier doesn't miss twice in a row. Usually. It's happened though. It's happened plenty. The run is infuriating on the fastest route because of being able to die at the literal end of the game in several spots. The route I'm doing right now is basically I just added defense grinding in, which adds like 6 minutes or something. It's not huge, but that 6 minutes makes it so we don't die in one hit, which is great. It hurts us because it loves us. Something like that. We'll go with that. Alright, I want to have 59 HP by a certain, or HP, 59 agility by a certain point in Call Hazard, because Call Hazard is our first out of bounds. And we're going to do something called the Battle Arena Clip, or blood alcohol content, depending on how the game's treating you any given day. Essentially, we're going to take our movement arena, we're going to make a really tight corner, we're going to walk into that corner, not run. This is, right now Brian's doing the run animation. We're going to actually do his walk animation into that corner. The game's going to go, I don't know how to handle that, and pushes you out of bounds. Thanks, early 3D games. Yeah, you just go out of bounds. It's pretty great. And we're going to skip the rest of the dungeon. We're going to do the same thing with Blue Cave and skip the entirety of Blue Cave. We're going to do the older version of the Out of Bounds, hopefully in East Limeland. Skip that area. We're going to do a battle arena clip without a battle in Barragoon Tunnel. Skip that area. And we're also going to do a compression Out of Bounds in Boil Hole and skip that area. So, yeah, we're going to be out of bounds a lot. The only downside to the Out of Bounds is it's visually incredibly boring. You'll understand when you see it. It's just a color of the area and you're walking in space. Great. My favorite. Alright, we're going to go to 82 HP here, and then that's going to be it for the defense, HP and defense grind, but this is going to be a lot faster because the Skelebats animation is really fast, and their agility is pretty high, so it'll be quick. I was considering skipping this, but I feel like I need to be extra safe. So look how fast that is. Boop. And then we're going to do confusion, and he's going to move forward, hopefully. Okay. Do this, and then do this, and then we'll stand here. Take hits. Lots of hits. And I'll refresh buffs occasionally. See, the defense grinding here is significantly faster, but it's also a lot sketchier because these guys hit a lot harder. Nice. As you can see, self-buffs can miss. It's great. My favorite thing about this game. It's not. That's not my favorite thing about this game. Oh, I don't need to heal there. This is... We're already at 80, you know. Just a wee bit faster. Helps if they all hit, too. Stop dodging them, Brian, please. One, we're almost done here. Okay, cool, we're done here. Oh, I didn't expect the level from that, but okay, cool. That's convenient. And our agility is 58, so we're at a very, very good spot. Ah, yeah. People are talking about the names of the games. Yeah, Brian's victory animation does tell you after you win a battle, Brian faces the way you were going before you or when you entered the battle, which is super helpful. Compass is your best friend in this game, to be completely honest. But there's a couple different names of the game. The US version is Quest 64, JP version, LTL Monsters. Alright, that's pretty good. But the PAL version, which is a direct copy of this version but runs slower, is called Holy Magic Century, which is by and far, heads and shoulders, name-wise, better than the rest. You get Quest 64 and they get Holy Magic Century? Come on. Sounds so much better. Alright, we're coming up on the Out of Bounds, and my agility is still low. That's okay. So this corner is the corner, right here. Alright, and we can do it with this encounter. So let me go to the corner, or not the corner, the spot. Alright, and the spot is gonna be right about here. Might be it already. Nope. It's right here. Alright, so I know exactly the spot because I've done it enough. But yeah, walk into the corner and the game just pushes you out of bounds. Boom, out of bounds. Now, things to note about Out of Bounds, you can get encounters, but only if you're really, really, really close to the path, like where you would normally walk. So we're not going to get any encounters because we're not going to get that close. We're just going to walk around the area. Pretty much the big time save there is just not getting a million encounters, which is great. But yeah, it's green and we're out of bounds. It's best. But yeah, now another thing about the out of bounds though, it doesn't actually, you can't do it. You could technically get out of bounds in a lot of areas, but it's not worth it. Because when you're out of bounds, you can't actually activate a door. So doors hitbox are like directly in front of them, you can't touch it. However, and thankfully, very conveniently, any cave entrance or exit, the hitbox overlaps kind of the map and kind of sticks out a bit to the out of bounds area, so you can clip it and you just go back in. It's super convenient. And something you probably just noticed is that there's certain walls that actually have hitboxes out of bounds that put us higher or lower, and we'll use that just so that we can see better. And since I'm going to hit this wall right here, and just go straight north. So, we are going to get one more encounter. We're gonna get a big old agility glitch. We have 59, we should have about 62 when we're done this. Pretty significant. The big one is the end of Blue Cave and the beginning of Isle of Skye, where Nepti is. Because in there, the end of Blue Cave and like the beginning of Isle of Skye are super far apart, and you get like 4 or 5. But the first time we go into Isle of Skye, there's an enemy that has way higher agility than us, and he's one of 4 enemies there, and we really don't want to see him. It's a waste of time, unfortunately, but there's a distinct possibility that we will see Grengok, or we know him, the fish stick. But yeah, this is an encounter from Out of Bounds. I got close enough to the area, the game goes, oh yeah, here, encounter. Because the way encounters, like how the game handles getting encounters, is that you start at some low percentage, and the longer you walk, the higher the percentage of an encounter you get, and the higher it is, you know, more likely you get an encounter. But because we walk so long without encounter, by the time we get there, we pretty much get it immediately. It's super convenient for the agility glitch, so now we have 62. Yeah, what black magic? We went out of bounds because corners in this game don't handle things well. Okay, so there's the cave exit, and thankfully, hitbox sticks out a little bit, and we can touch it, and then we're back in bounds like normal. Super nice. Alright. 6. 47. Going to, since I'm not worried about this fight, because but since we did not make a quick save earlier, I'm gonna do that here. That's just in case we die. It can happen. We could get absolutely atrocious luck. A game notorious for RNG kills you. Big surprise. Here we go, fence clip. Saves not much time, but it's cool. That's... Got it, thankfully. Why does it look like a dingus? We're gonna clone this spirit, and hopefully get an encounter pretty much immediately. Oh, that was bad. Still a 4, but bad, I would say. Felt bad. Should have been like a 5. Alright. Hey look, ants. Term ants. And I accidentally dodged all their attacks. Alright. We have 65 agility. We'll probably do another agility glitch unless it's a Lamaya. Lamayas are sketchy. We can get into a Lamaya encounter now. That's not a Lamaya, but he's gonna hit hard. Pops, as we like to call him, because there's Orc Jr. and West Karma. That's the Big Daddy himself. He sits on you. Is there a stat limit? Yes, there is. For spirits, it's 50. For HP and MP, it is 500. For defense and agility, I believe it is 250. Alright, here's Zels. He has 3 attacks, a long range, a short range, and mid range. We want the mid range because you can dodge it every single time. And if I do it right, I will hopefully stand in the correct spot. I don't really need to use Magic Barrier habit more than anything else. But he can die in 1 turn. Let's see. But we have to have Avalanche hit him. He only has 680 HP. Okay, he did a short range. I'm gonna be about here. And, oh, he's dead, doesn't matter. So yeah, the early fights are kind of a joke, you know? Pretty great. It's 5. Alright, and we will use blue wings. I forgot I had white wings. Go back to Lara Pool, because now we're going to go to Blue Cave. Hit the door. One of my favorite things in this game is this next room, right up here. So we're supposed to go in here and talk to the lady. She's supposed to lower the water for us, but as it turns out, the door is the lever that flushes Lara Pool. And the water is lowered. You don't have to talk to her at all. You just go in and out the door, and the water lowers. Pretty funny. Now, if you guys remember, Blue Cave is a mess of puzzly, not really puzzly, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but like, it's mazy. Well, we're gonna go out of bounds right at the beginning, because mazes are annoying. Granted, it's not that difficult of a maze, but it's still a maze. Tedious. So we're gonna stand right in this spot right here, and I'm gonna cast Magic Barrier because I don't want to take damage. And we're going to walk out of bounds right here. Hey look, we're out of bounds again. Now, interestingly enough, I actually have to clip from wall to wall, because the walls aren't connected. So if I try to run here, those walls, but if I walk at the wall, I can clip through the wall to the next wall. Except for the last one where you walk along the wall. Hey look, we're out of bounds again. So, this place is dark blue. And we're going to skip the literal entire area. The beginning of Blue Cave is the very southwest, and the exit is like northeast, but it's mostly north. Mostly at the very north. We're gonna hit this wall up here and use it to grab some height. Hopefully I don't do what I just did and get an encounter. If you get too close, you can get an encounter. It usually doesn't happen, but it doesn't matter. It just means we'll have more agility, but that's fine. Not by much, though. There we go. 66. Alright, so I'm going to hit an angle right about there, and we will see the exit in a minute and 45, I think. Yeah, minute 45. So, if you need to go get a drink, now's a good time. Again, walking forward in space. Ignoring everything. We will do an agility glitch when we get there. But, yeah. Dungeons aren't that big. They're pretty alright. If you're asking me, Nades, my day's been alright. Woke up, did this. Pretty good day so far. Does the game crash if you go too far away from the map? No, actually. If you go too far away, the only thing that happens is the camera freaks out. For me to do that, it would take a couple days of going forward directly away from the map, I think. The person who found like almost all of the glitches, Squid to Pig, he did it on emulator and he put it on like 9,999%, and eventually you end up with a weird camera. It doesn't do anything. Actually, Blue Cave is probably the largest dungeon, just because of how mazy it is. When the Out of Bounds was originally found, we used compression, and we didn't know if you could skip this entire dungeon. As it turns out, the entirety of Blue Cave is loaded at once, which is probably why there's the crash in Blue Maze portion of Blue Cave, because of how big this dungeon is. Fairground Tunnel might be the longest straight line. Hey look, here's the end. We did it. Alright, so we're gonna grab an encounter. We're just gonna put us at like 71, 72, and then we don't want to see the Grangok or Fish Stick, because they have 75 and we don't. Get that, and then here. And heal. And 71, alright. Fairground has the illusion of tunnel just because of the change, or the illusion of tunnel. The illusion of bigness just because of the changes. I'm pretty sure it's not the biggest. It is a lot of vertical movement in the dungeon, so it makes it seem bigger than it really is. Picking up items. Mostly what we're picking up is MP items because we need them. We need all of them. I'm gonna make a quick save here because if I do die to an empty, which is a distinct possibility with the way this game is, I don't want to have to do all that stuff again. I'm not gonna make a full save because I'm not gonna need to use items, most likely, but there's a possibility. Alright, no Grangok, no Fish Stick, please, no Fish Stick. I'm gonna grab this one because we'll end up with 24 fire. A Fish Stick, a Fish Stick, hey, there's a Fish Stick. Alright, so that loses us like a minute because we have to double dip at the end of Blue Cave for agility, unfortunately. Womp womp. But that's the nature of this, you know? Lose a minute. 45 minutes in the run because you got the wrong encounter. Sucks. Yeah, Nepti is pretty terrible. She is a tiny... I think she either has the smallest hitbox or is tied for the smallest hitbox. She's a pain anyway. Yeah, we're underwater right now. Oh, I forgot to mention, Solvring is a thief who stole the Earth Orb. Zelsa is a thief who stole the Wind Jade. Nepti is a thief who threw the Water Jewel. Fargo is a murderer and a thief who stole the Fire Rupee. So a running theme here. The gems got stolen by thieves. Alright, a little too far. One hit. She only has 880 HP. That would have been 3 hits if I was closer. That was bad, unfortunately. Yeah, she can die in like 1 turn if you're super lucky. Okay. But it's gonna look more... well, no hits is more likely. Okay, don't walk. Don't walk. You... Alright. Walk. Stop walking, please. Walk, don't walk. 4, 5, 6. Alright, she's dead. I mean, they specifically call them thieves in the game. Yeah. Yeah, Fargo is a murderer who escaped and then became a thief. Ouch. Alright. You're gonna end up at like 82 or something. We only wanted to end up at like 70... or, and I already forgot. 75, 79... I guess we ended up at like 79 or so. Yeah, 79. Because we need to have at least 68. Or... well, we would have 68 anyway. But we would need at least 68, I believe. For, oh, I cast Return. Return is the wrong spell here. That was special. We need 68 agility because that's the fastest enemy in East Limeland, but we wanted 70, 75 or so. We want 79 because we ended up at 84. Because 84 is the fastest enemy in Burgoon Tunnel. Lack of sleep is catching up to me. So this is the end of where we can get an encounter. So we're going to try to maximize the amount of agility. They're not fish sticks. They're Brangoks, but you know they're quite literally a fish on a stick. Don't Death Warp. Oh yeah, you're right. Thank you for reminding me. Death Warp would be worthless because I just end up out here. It's such habit to do the Death Warp. Yeah, normally we would die here, well, in Blue Cave, and go back to the first boat that we came in on after sulfuring. We would normally warp to that save house that's right by that boat, but because we saved here, we can't do that Death Warp, so we're just gonna end up at Laura Pool and then walk over to the boat, which isn't that big a deal now, just because our agility is so high. 79, this will put me at like 82 or 3, which is fantastic. Oh, you're just in time for weird stuff. Alright, so we're good on each, or agility rather. Yep, 84. Look at that. That's silly how much agility we get from that. And up Laura Pool. So the big difference is here, way over on the other end of the map. That's like the difference. It's not a huge time because we're faster than everything, but it's still, you know, a little bit of time save. It used to be like 2 minutes just because we weren't faster than anything. Now it's probably maybe a minute, depending on the encounters. You could get no encounters, or you could get a million encounters. Who knows? Only the game. Actually, I forgot. Those, the gremlins actually can drop a Sealing spell, which I would like. So if I get an all gremlin encounter, I will kill them real quick. But we'll see. A fun fact, any enemy that casts Fireball 2 or 3, the way the spell casts them, they don't shoot forward, they kind of shoot out angled. So if you run perpendicular to them, unless they cast the spell in you, thanks Pinhead, you can dodge most of the fireballs. Pinhead, like, walks into you and casts the spell in your face. It's literally impossible to dodge. So yeah, we would have spawned over at this house right here. Not a big deal in this scheme of things. Alright. Now I'm going to try and set up for an out of bounds here, but there's a good possibility we don't get the right encounter. But hopefully we will. I will go out of bounds here eventually. Oh wait, that's the encounter I want, but I want him up against the wall. As you notice, he's not up against the wall, so I can't go out of bounds on this. Which kind of stinks, but that's the way it goes. I want him up against this wall because we have to do the compression out of bounds here. We haven't been able to find a spot for Battle Arena Clip, and believe me, I've looked. There is no corner that's sharp enough in an angle. This game is being incredibly nice. Alright, so compression, what it does is it shrinks the enemy's model. And it also lowers their attack, but we don't really care about the attack. We care about the model shrinking, because when they go back to normal size, if you're between them and a wall, instead of the game pushing the enemy away, it pushes you away. It's a nice little side effect. So, we set that up really nicely. Mind you, this almost never goes like how this just did, so this is better than probably every out of bounds I've ever had here. That was really good. So yeah, we get pushed out of bounds when he goes back to normal size. We're out of bounds. Again. And we're gonna run to Baragoon Tunnel. But for those of you who remember, I mentioned earlier that we can't activate doors from out of bounds, and the entrance to Baragoon Tunnel is a door. Well, thankfully there's this nice little thing that exists, and if it didn't, this out of bounds would be totally worthless. So this out of bounds, if done quickly, saves like a minute and change. If done okay, it still saves time just because you don't have to deal with random encounters. On the N64, I don't know. For those of you who don't know, there's actually a enhanced demake of this game on the Game Boy Color called Quest RPG Brian's Journey. It is literally the same game, but with more story. And they changed some of the mechanics a little bit, but it's basically the same game, but it's on Game Boy. So, as we're going out of bounds with the Battle Arena clip, here we can actually go back inbounds for whatever reason right here. It's super convenient because I wouldn't be able to hit this door otherwise. We got a couple more out of bounds. We're gonna go out of bounds in this area too. It is called Quest RPG Brian's Journey, and it is on the Game Boy. The JP name for that game is amazing, by the way. It makes Holy Magic Century look like trash. I believe it is... Can't remember the order. I think it's Elemental Tail, Jack's Great Adventure, Demon's Counterattack, or Demon's Counterattack, Jack's Great Adventure. It's something ridiculous. The translation on Wikipedia says it's Satan, but someone mentioned that it's actually Demon, and that's a mistranslation. It's ridiculous. If someone could look that up, it's on Wikipedia. Just replace Satan with Demon. It is a fantastic, fantastic name. I don't know, he's a 10-year-old boy murdering bad people. I'm pretty sure he's alright with opening tests however he wants. That's what it is. Elemental Tail, Jack's Great Adventure, Demon Counterattack. That is the JP name of the Game Boy Quest RPG. It is amazing. Fun fact, in that game, they buff the crap out of wind, so wind is incredibly powerful. So here's our out of bounds, this corner right to our left. But we don't actually need to use an encounter for this. This corner exists in the game. You just walk into the corner, and eventually it'll let you out of bounds. Please. Don't make a liar out of me. Alright, make a liar. Oh, there we go. But yeah, you walk into that corner, you go out of bounds. So that's a thing. Fun fact, we're gonna skip Shelf. We don't have to fight her at all. She doesn't trigger anything. She's just there. We're also gonna do the same thing with Fargo. We're gonna skip 2 bosses. We don't need to fight them. We could fight them from out of bounds. Shelf we would lose, just because of the nature of her battle area, and also because of her attacks. But Fargo in the All Spirits run and the old Any Percent runs, we would actually fight him from out of bounds, and we would get him really close to you, and he would use his close range and it couldn't hit you, so you just stand up above him in space, dropping rocks on him. It's pretty great. Yeah. It's really good. They actually have story, which is fun. There's cutscenes. You know, that's pretty great. Alright, so what I'm doing here is I'm going to set up to drop my height so I can see. So there's a wall here. I use Brian's Dust Cloud and also the compass to know that I can turn right here, and turn here, and then I'm aiming into a wall. It's going to turn me eastward, and I should drop in 3, 2, 1, drop. Yep. And that puts us at a nice height so we can see the rest of the area. Oops. But yeah, so that out of bounds that we used here where we walked into a corner is actually found because of Bogus's room, or Bijus is his actual name. We call him Bogus because he's awful. But in Bogus's room, there's 2 statues, and on the one on the statue on the left, you can actually very easily clip out of bounds. If Bogus is still there, you do it in his fight, you can die and reset the room. However, if you go out of bounds when he is dead already, you soft lock the game. You cannot get out of that room. Alright, we're gonna do another agility glitch here, even though I have an excess, but that's okay. Well, the wisps hit really hard. Alright, MP is looking good. We'll say hi to Shelf real quick. Look at that. Hi Shelf, she's standing on space right now. I don't want to get too close because I don't want to actually start the fight because I will lose horribly. Hi Shelf. And the All Spirits run, we actually still do this out of bounds, and we come back in bounds from behind her, and the cutscene still triggers the same way, where she's standing, looking forward, talking at you, except Brian is way behind her, like, I'm back here. But yeah, we don't need to do anything with her, we just ignore her entirely. Alright, so this guy's gonna do an attack where it's called, Magnet Rock. If you go up the hill, the hitbox doesn't go up. The hitbox kind of stays on one singular Z-plane, so you can dodge it very easily, which is pretty funny. Also super convenient for not taking damage from him, because he hits hard. I mean, I love this game more than a lot of people, and it's not a good game, unfortunately. It is incredibly unfinished, and very samey, and, you know, it gets... Unfortunately, it's... There's a lot that could have been that didn't. Alright, so these are the enemies that we will go out of bounds on in a moment. We are in Bergun, or Boil Hole, rather. 98. Oh, I should probably have picked up that replica. I'll pick up the one. I skipped that now because it doesn't matter. I'm going to die in Mammon's World if I get into an encounter, but I won't die this time. I'll actually be able to do that. That's okay. Generally, when I'm turning the camera like this away from enemies, that just means the spell is gonna lag. I love this game. I wish they had released the sequel that they started to work on, but unfortunately it got canceled. It was Quest 64 too. I really would just like a game with this combat system, honestly, and not party members. I want a singular playable character, not multiples. Alright, so we want a Magnafish. We don't want a Rocky. We'll probably see a Rocky. I don't want that Rocky. We're gonna do the same compression out of bounds. These guys, the Magnafish AI is super consistent. If you're close, they will walk up. Or if you're close, they'll just use their close range attack. If you're too far, they walk forward and use defense up. Always. Without fail. They're super consistent. It's fantastic. Dodge that. This hit. Oh, and this is why I pick up the Dewdrop, for that reason right there. The buff is supposed to last like 4 turns. It can last 2 though. Annoying. Okay, that's good enough. Go. And now we do this and wait for him to go back to normal. Hey, look at that, he went back to normal. And we're out of bounds, again. So yeah, we're gonna do the exact same thing, and we're gonna skip Fargo. This area is red. Ball Hazard was green, Blue Cave was blue, Beargreen Tunnel was just black, and this one's red. Alright, a minute 14 from now. In a minute and 14, we will get into an encounter. So that would be 1:10:50. I will have to look up Dragon Quarter. My only issue with some games is, and it's probably because of this game, is that I don't actually like having parties sometimes. I like having a single character, but almost certainly this game that influenced that. But yeah, I will definitely look up Dragon Quarter. Bum, 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 bum. Boom, boom. Brum, bum, bum. But yeah, we could fight Fargo from out of bounds. It'd be kind of funny. He just walks up to us, does his short range, and we're just standing out of reach, just dropping rocks on his head. Oh, there we go. Encounter. Alright, hit this wall, drop down. The whole point for that minute and 14 is so that we can drop down height and we can actually see what's going on. The combination of the spell system and the combat, really, what's unique about this game. Being able to move and dodge spells after they get cast in a turn-based RPG, kind of interesting. A lack of plot, also true. So yeah, we just walked by Fargo. He was on the left there. Gonna not even say hi to him. Yeah, the hairdo that Brian wields, the Ahoge, I believe it's called, is supposed to show that he's naive. So yeah, we're a naive 10-year-old who takes on a giant purple space monster and wins, usually. Take that as you will. Oh, and something to note, the game is unfinished. I've said this before, but in particular, it comes kind of obvious here. I mean, it was kind of obvious in the last, in like Shelf Dungeon and Beargreen Tunnel, because everything just kind of becomes a straight line. But in particular here, I'm actually going to grab the Ceiling Spell too, in case. There's some weird things that you can do. By weird, I mean very, very convenient, to save us from having to deal with encounters. There's walls that we can walk along and we don't get encounters. Why? I don't know. Super convenient is what it is. But yeah, so there are encounters here, but if I walk along this wall, I won't get into those encounters. Because reasons. It's the end of the game. It's there's only like two or three spots you can do it. So I don't know if it's a developer thing. It doesn't feel like a developer thing. It feels like something they forgot to fix. Alright. And I'm going to make a actual save here, because if Guilty kills us, we need those items back. Yeah, this is the best music in the game, in my opinion. Alright. This has been a particularly good run. RNG's been pretty nice overall. What's unfinished about it? There is no story. The combat, while has potential, is somewhat lackluster. Did I mention there's no story? There's a lot of, not a lot of glitches, but some stuff. So this wall here, there are encounters here, by the way. And that's the front door. We're not going to go in the front door because the front door is boring. We're going to go in the back door. She doesn't like that. The areas become very linear. Like, especially, you'll notice in Mammon's World, like, ooh, spooky, but it's like, the Mammon's World is very not interesting at all. Yeah. Avalanche is incredibly broken. Like, ridiculously broken. You can only get an item drop if you have no items. Stuff like that. Oh, I will do an agility glitch here. You need 21 MP, which I should get probably in a bit. 87, yeah, that's not bad. You wouldn't be able to post a link in chat, only mods can. There is a fantastic person who did an orchestral remix of, I believe he's done all the music of this game. If you search I think it's a Deaf Bat on YouTube, he's done excellent remixes. Would suggest if you like the music of this game. I would say music is one of the good points. I mean, there's Mario RPG, which is quite good. Yeah, no, there's not many RPGs. There's actually some more, there's only like 3 or 4 RPGs in the US. Aiden Chronicles, Haven, Mario, this. But in JP, there's like 4 more JP only RPGs that are all actually supposed to be quite good. I believe it's A Deaf Bat is the composer or the YouTuber that made those songs, the remixes. Once I have 21 MP right there, I'm not going to be casting that anymore because 21 MP is the cutoff point. Yeah, of course. More than happy to share the lovely music of this game, everyone. But yeah, as you can see, this area is very interesting. We're going upstairs and turning left. And going up some more stairs. And turning left. Paper Mario is an RPG. I mean, not that it counts as an RPG, it quite literally is an RPG. Good old Aiden Chronicles. Alright, here's Guilty. He sucks. Not much more to it than that. He's big. He takes half damage from spells. Did I mention he's big and he's annoying? Alright, there's a particular spot I like to stand. Alright. 0. One, two. So he's gonna take 18 hits. Five, six, seven. Oh wow! All right, was that 5 hits? Dang, that was good, and a miss in there too. That was actually a really good avalanche. I'll take that. Take that any day of the week. Hey, look, magic barrier miss. Bonk. Wow, he did exactly the right amount of damage to me. I thought I had enough HP and defense. I guess I didn't. Well then. The run was going too good anyway. And that's why we saved. Unfortunately, that for all the bosses, it is by and far the longest walk. And that's why the estimate is 2 hours. This guy, right here. So if we had killed him there was probably like 15 minutes left or so. But, yeah, that's whatever. Yes, self-buffs can miss. It's great. It's my favorite mechanic. It is really, really obnoxious. Ugh. At least the music's good. This is like the best area for music by and far, in my opinion. Vernock, and then Vernock Castle, both very, very good. I will not be doing an agility glitch. They probably wouldn't kill me, but it's not worth it. Be almost dead. Alright. Shamwood's alright. I don't particularly care for Shamwood personally, but it's definitely quality. I mean, I would say the entire game's soundtrack is fantastic in my opinion, but there are some songs I personally like better than others. Yeah, the Red Rose Knights hit with Wind Cutter, the second highest base damage spell in the game that I have access to. Because I actually did it, so normally if we don't do the defense grind, they can one-shot us. But because I did do the defense grind, they probably can. I don't really want to test. By casting escape, how nice. Alright. Yeah. And that's another thing about unfinished games. So for Solvering, instead of like lowering the base damage of the spell, they instead turned his spirit level like really, really low. Which is so bizarre. Yeah, Aiden Chronicles is supposedly quite a bit similar. I actually just picked up a copy and I'm probably going to play it soon, but I've heard that it is it's a mess. I remember watching somebody, one of the dudes that runs it, and I think it's like an 8-hour run or something really, really long. And I tuned in for like 30 minutes because all I had, and he said something about, in this next fight, I could fall through the floor and then the run's completely over. I was like, that sounds awful. Alright, round 2. Let's see if he's good. Don't walk, don't walk. You didn't walk, thank you. Appreciate you. That's what I appreciates about you. 1. Okay. Two, 3. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8. Letterkenny's fantastic. I'm going to assume I was at 8, so we're gonna say 10. $11, $12, $12. $15. Please don't kill me again. Okay. $18? Alright, yeah, he had 17 then. Not going to go for it. Instead, I'm going to be safe. I don't want to die. Again, that is. Alright, he should be dead. Maybe one more hit. Yep, there we go. Hey! Guilty died. There actually is a sort of task. There's a guy named Spyraster who did a sort of theory test. It's not heavily optimized, but he did do a sort of task of the Game Boy Color, or the Game Boy. It's not actually a Game Boy Color game, but the Game Boy Quest. Alright, now I just need not to have a million encounters. That'd be great, thanks. Really not a whole lot to talk about. We're kind of just running to Bogus. There's a little spiel I like to give, but I know exactly pretty much how long it takes, so wait till that point to start that. There's another MP item. Safety and all that. Is there a way to beat this game without Magic Barrier? Yes, tediously. You can grind a lot of HP and defense. You could do it. I mean, you could do it totally without Magic Barrier. Magic Barrier is not necessary. Magic Barrier is necessary to do it fast. Hardest run is actually all fire. All wind is not bad because of the range. Fire is actually the worst. Actually do the encounters, right? Grind HP and defense. Hey, Leonardo. We don't know about you yet. He did some stuff. He's another wizard who's a kid. He's our friend that we just met. We're gonna save here. So, as I mentioned at the beginning of the run, the L-Tail book got stolen. That's our story. And that's it. No. Our dad went after it, who's a master magic tamer. Spirit tamer, rather, as they are called in this game. He's been gone for a month, and we're a 10-year-old child in a world without cell phones, so of course we're worried. And the Grand Abbot says, "Go get him, champ," and we're gonna go save our dad. Which is strange because, you know, we're a 10-year-old boy, but that's just the way it goes. I would like to mention that first I'm a chest, because this is a thing that you can do. You can become a chest. You can clip up into this chest, no particular reason. But hey, look, there's Dad. Hi, Dad. Hi, Dad. You are no longer relevant to the story. Yeah, this should be called Chess 64 now, because of that. Dad says something about the next guys being stronger or some such, but whatever, Dad's a weakling. We'll go show him what's what. Of course, I'm probably gonna die after saying that. Alright. Hey look, Bogus. You're rude. And we'll cast a barrier. Thank you. He walks up, he does this. I walk over here. So this pillar to my left is where we actually, the origination of the walk into a corner, go out of bounds came from, is that corner. Cool. Alright, now camera, play nice, please. And so begins the annoyance of rocks not dropping them. Nice. On bogus. One, two. He'll take 10 hits. He has 1900 HP. Three. He can die in like 2 turns, but you have to be lucky. Four. Pretty garbage. He owns 3. So this is probably the last one I can use on him. I want to have 3 for Mammon. I don't need 3 necessarily, but I would like to have 3. It's a fun fight, guys. I love it. This is why we call him bogus. A 5, 6. Hey, we did it. Seven. 8. Confusion here. Hope this doesn't miss. Cool. I don't have another healing item, so this is just gonna have to be... Alright, next hit kills him. Nope. Yeah, okay. Hey, we did it. Hooray. Alright, yeah, that fight's dumb. Just because he's so small. I'm pretty sure he has the same hitbox as Nefty, which is unfortunate. Alright, take your bets. How many encounters would I get in Mammon's World? Anywhere from no encounters to a lot. Take your poison. Blue and... bottom left-hand corner. Oh, those are my elements, my spirits. The levels in the elements. 2. I appreciate the low count there. 2 is pretty alright. I would... Personally, I'm gonna go with 0. I mean, about 10 is... 10 is about the line where it gets really excessive, so I would say anywhere between 0 and 10 realistically. But, theoretically, you could get a lot more. And you actually can get encounters in this area, but again, walking along the wall, no encounters. So, this is where we really mention the game is unfinished because of this room, which they will repeat later, which has no encounters, and there's the door over there, and I have to walk all the way around this really, really unnecessary room. It's great, it's my favorite. Why does it exist? Those spirits are my levels for my damage, for my spells, for earth, wind, water, and fire, and give me access to new spells. No, I can't. cannot fall off. Right? Apparently, you're supposed to be able to get a horse. But again, unfinished game. This is the first room that I can get encounter, and I will probably get encounter on this next hill right about here. Happens sometimes, no encounters. Or, you know, they could have invented spells that let me teleport to different towns. Oh, hey, look. These guys are terrible, and I hate them. He might be able to kill me if he rolls perfectly. Alright, he missed, thankfully. Those guys are just the worst. If this was an any percent run, that is straight up a death sentence. If this was like a any percent run with the fastest strats, they're a death sentence. There's a distinct possibility he kills me. My HP is not as high as it needs to be. It needs to be about 3 higher. Yeah. They do a lot of damage. Yeah, is correct. I probably should have done a little more defense grinding. I expected to have about 162 or 3 HP. And, we didn't. Hey look! It's this guy, again. Don't kill me, please. That would be unfortunate. Okay, he missed with 1. Thankfully. There has been runs when I end up with 1 HP from them. That has happened. You're supposed to be able to dodge encounters here by walking along the wall. It doesn't always work. This is the one that can kill us in a normal 80% run, Pale Rider, if we don't have just enough HP. This won't kill us. Just do a lot of damage. Always going to heal up just in case. Definitely. So the pathing I take is particular to ignore as much of the encounter areas as I can. Minimize that chance, but Quest can decide that you're gonna die even if you do your best. Hey, remember this room, but it was a slightly different color? Yeah, it's this room again. A slightly different color. Thankfully, there's only 2 of these rooms, but yeah, it's unfortunate that it exists. It is a entire waste of time. Time is when Mammon goes poof, which is, you know, soonish. I have to make it to Mammon, though. I think the next room is a save, so we should be good. In terms of not having to do a lot of this walk again. Like they turned on the light in the room. Hey, look, it's Epona. Yes, Epona. This game was released before Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time copied this game. Epona is a magician who is 1,000 years old and is the one who trapped Mammon originally in this jail. Mammon wants the power of the spirits to destroy all humanity because he's an evil dude. You know. Last room with encounters. So we got, what, 3 encounters? Who's the winner with that? Well, we can get 1 more encounter, but probably won't. Or maybe we will. I don't know. No, we have 4 encounters, rather. We get 1 right here, which we didn't. So 4 encounters. Who guessed foe? Here's Shannon giving us the key, being like, sorry, I served Mammon. Deuces. Hey, look, there's Mammon. Mammon is quite literally a joke. Time is coming up shortly. He could die in like a minute or 2 minutes. He is literally gigantic, huge, So Avalanche doesn't really miss. Hey, big guy. Unless this happens, you know? Miss? Nice. Alright, we'll just trade misses, apparently. Wow. Still got 3 and like 4 misses. That would have been a 7. Goodness gracious. Or at least, so we're gonna say. So Mammon's head looks like the Tick, if people are familiar with that cartoon. He's at like, well, I'm just gonna take it. I'm gonna be an idiot and go for this. Yeah, the firewall lags, the other spells don't. Nice game, thanks. The magic barrier can last for more than 2 turns. It generally doesn't, though. Okay, well, we're dead. Maybe. Ah. Oh well. I was being greedy. Whoops. And I actually do have to load. Do I? Yeah, I'm just gonna load the save. That was unfortunate. It happens though. Oops. You can blame that on me being greedy. But yeah, the walk back to him is nothing, so it's whatever. I think it's a minute and 10 or something. Depending on encounters. Even if I get encounter here, still 4. Yeah, I would laugh at me too for that. Oh, unfortunate. I have had a fight with Mammon where I only used 1 MP bar and killed him, which is just straight up insane. Round 2 for the big guy. Hey, buddy. Killed me. How about not doing that this time? Thanks. And 4 at least. I really wish he'd cast literally anything else. He has 2 other spells, you can use them. 8 at least. You can only see 4 hits because the HP number damage goes too high. I'd actually have to listen, and I don't really feel like listening. I have to lean in close to the TV and... yeah, whatever. Nice. So we're gonna go with 10. You'll be dead shortly. 14. Hey, Magic Barrier is actually not being rude. Hey, look, that other spell that he hasn't cast yet until just now. 18. He could either die on this one or the next one, so get ready. I think he's dead. Get the time. That's me for time. I forgot I had the blitz. Oops. And then we just run at the camera. Hooray! Quest is dead. Thank you for having me, guys. I really do appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. As always, I hope you enjoyed the lack of story and all the goofy glitches. I'm sorry I couldn't show off Death Dupe. Unfortunately, that's the nature of that glitch, is that it just doesn't happen. Like I said, thank you for having me. Good luck to the rest of the runners. Have a good one, guys.